Minasan, okarina-sai, let's keep the intro super short since the video will be super long. As the title says, I'll go over the solo singing career of every LoveLive Seiyu that has one. I will focus on the girls as solo acts, but I'll also briefly mention units that they're currently in or have been in the past. Also, it's safe to assume everyone I mention has had solo live shows as well as having YouTube channels. So if you're more interested in seeing their stuff, simply typing their name into the search bar will help you find what you're looking for. Or you can just ask for help in the comments and I'll do my best to assist. Also, I just want to apologize in advance for all the mouth noises and clicks you'll hear throughout this long video. No matter what I do or how much I hydrate, it just doesn't help, so sorry if you find it annoying. As always, let's start off with Muse, and specifically Aina. Like with most Muse girls, she was super active in the mid to late 2010s, but has slowly faded away over the last 5 years or so. With Kusun in particular, she only really had 2 proper singles, digital only in 2016, titled Welcome Future, of which I can't actually find too much info on. It's not even on streaming. Actually, most of her stuff isn't on my local streaming apps. Some of it is on Spotify, but only like 20% of her career. One of the songs that is available is Happy Thinking, coming out in 2018, ending for the not so great show Lady Sports. Despite only having 2 singles, she's actually had 5 full albums, 1 each year from 2015 to 2019. First Sweet Wave, Next Brilliant Wave, Calendar no Koibito, Ainanda, and LoveLive. That third album, Calendar no Koibito, having the track Welcome Future, the ending for Cheating Craft, which was her first Annie song. Shame it is also not in a particularly good series. But Kusun even writes the lyrics for some of her tracks, and other Muse member Nanjo has also helped out a bit. A little bonus thing for her, she along with Pyle were part of a shortly lived duo unit known as Please in Secret. Speaking of, Pyle-sama is part of the label Victor Entertainment and its subsidiary, Colorful Records, actually having a fairly active singing career in the 2010s, though it technically did begin in 2007 with the track Your Is All. But it wouldn't be until 2014 with her first official single, Densetsu no Flare, third ending theme for Tenkai Nights. Over the next 4 years, having another 8 singles, Kimi ga Karete Kiseki, ending for Duel Masters VSR, Dream Trigger, opening for World Trigger, her best track in my opinion, Melody, third opening for Rine, Subara Shiki Sakai, opening for Duel Masters VSFR. There's also Lost Paradise, another banger, and ending for King's Game. Then she also had BJ, which served as the ending for Doreki the Animation, technically being her final single, but there was Kizuna Hero back in 2017, which wasn't an Annie song. From 2015 to 2018, she had 4 albums, 1 per year, having all those singles I just mentioned, those albums being Jewel Vox, Pyle, Tailwinds, and Showcase. There's also her Best Of album in 2018, and the last thing to mention is her 5th album, Gate, having her 10th and 11th singles, Unlock and Core Surf, all of which came out after BJ. I only mention this now because it is hard to find info on these. The album came out in 2022, and it does for sure exist since Pyle posted about it on her Twitter, but only like twice. So yeah, it's also not on any streaming services, not for me at least. Piggybacking off Pyle to Riho Ida, the 2 of them were in a shortly lived Seiyu unit together back around 2014 called 4 to 6. I recently listened to the 2 tracks that they had and they're both pretty good. Prior to that though, and prior to Muse in general, she debuted in 2007 with the label Purple Hills record and the song Suka Maete Yo Love Song, the same year also having Heartbeat Knee Skip. Around this time she had her first 2 albums, Stay in 2008, and Repeat's Rock and Roll in 2010, being a collaboration of the labels Good Train and Dreamstar. She took a massive hiatus after this, half a decade in fact, and re-began her singing career in 2015, with another new album, Repeat, and being part of the label Tokuma Japan Communications. The following year was Repeataholic, her 4th total album, but also 3 singles, Kiss Kiss Kiss, Kata Omoi Second, and Aoi Hono Syndrome, her first Annie song, the ending for Digimon Universe at Monsters. 2018, she had Itsuka Sakai ga Kaoru Made, ending theme for Boarding School Juliet. She also had mini-album Special Days, writing the lyrics for the final track on the album, and both of these were yet again on a new label, her current one, NBC Universal Entertainment Japan. In 2019, she had the 20th anniversary album Repeat Philosophy. This was mostly just a compilation album, but she even covered Muse's debut single on this as well. Lastly, for her solo career, 2021 is her most recent single, One Wish. second ending theme for King's Raid, and she even wrote the lyrics for the coupling track. Now Aya Uchida is one of the few girls in the group who is still super active in the industry. She is part of the label Nippon Columbia. Her debut was in 2014 with Apple Mint, since then having 4 more albums: 2015's Blooming, 2017's Ice Cream Girl, 2019's Ephemera, and 2022 she had Music. But there was also 2 concept albums on the same date in 2016, Sweet Tears and Bitter Kiss, having a covers album, Cover Roots, in 2021, and finally Best Of album in 2018 titled Aya Uchida Complete Box 50 Songs. Considering that was 6 years ago and she's been cooking basically every year since, I think it's time for another Best Of. Speaking of cooking, let's go over those 9 singles she has. First in 2016, Sumile Smile, one of my favorites of hers, actually being the opening for a live action program that she hosted titled Aya Uchida Hello, My Music, Colors. The next single was in 2018, So Happy, ending theme for You Don't Know Gunwa Yet, a show that low-key just promotes her home prefecture. 2019 she had a double release of Sign and Candy Flavor, Sign being the ending for the first season of the quintuplets. 2020 was Reverb, ending for Infinite Dendrogram. 2021 she had 2 singles, Pale Blue, ending for Let's Make a Mug 2, and Canary Yellow being the ending for the second half of the same show. On to 2023, Preview, opening for Chronicles of an Aristocrat Reborn in Another World, actually being her first opening while all the other songs were endings. Last Hard Copy's single Cheerful Hearts released recently on November 13th and does not seem to be an Annie song. Finally, her only digital-only track coming out earlier this year, titled With Me, being described as a dance number written as a counter title to With You, a song from her second album back in 2015. A little bonus fun fact I guess about her, with all this music, from what I've read up on, she only really wrote lyrics for the song Holiday on her Ice Cream Girl album, which I just found very odd. I thought she was much more hands-on with her music. Oh, also I forgot to mention that she has done some live performances for the Kyoto Pre-Chen series. But anyway, next is leader Eminita, debuting in 2014 with Bushiroad music. Nice. With the song Ega O to Ega O de Hajimari Yo. It, alongside its coupling track, being the theme songs for her radio program, Eminita's E-Music Magic. The following year, she had Thank You Dreaming, first ending for Milky Homes Season 2, while its coupling track was the theme for a game known as Hitotsu Tobashi Ranai. There was also Next Phase, great cover, ending theme for Cardfight Vanguard G, both of these tracks being on her new personal label called Emitsune, given to her by the Bushiroad company, still technically being with them, just having her own little division now, which is pretty cool. The year after that, she had her 4th single Miyaku no Kanata, ending for Luck and Logic. In 2017, she had the non-anime song Rocket Heart, another banger cover, and the final single of hers was in 2020, sort of a re-debut in the industry, at least it was marketed as that, being with the Avex label now, and the song was Sing Ring. She's only had 2 real albums, E-Music in 2015 and E-Music 32 Meets You in 2018. Her writing lyrics for 4 songs total between these 2 albums, with Miho Karasawa, aka pop singer True, also writing lyrics for 4 of them. Even another pop singer, Zach, and the legend Akihata also helping out with some lyrics. Aside from these 2, she had Best Of album Trace of E-Music in 2017, and mini-album Tiny Steps in 2022, this being her most recent release, Emmy doing lyrics for 3 of the tracks while Zach helped out for 1 of them. And now let's move on to another big hitter, Suzuko Momori, who recently just gave birth to her 2nd baby boy. She has arguably the biggest singing resume in Muse, a little more on that later though. Let's try to get through this quickly and efficiently. Starting in 2013 with Pony Canyon label having 3 singles, I Want to Meet You, honestly perfect debut song in my opinion, opening for the Japanese version of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. She also had Yakusoko Shiteyo Isho Dayo, as well as Univer Page, opening for Outbreak Company. The following year was her 4th single, Do Your Best, That's What I Want to Tell, opening for Majimoji Ururumo. The year after that, Late for Night, opening for Lance and Mask, writing lyrics for the coupling track. 2016, 6 singles Zenotopia, opening for Seisen Cerberus. The next year, she had Sakiwa Fuhana, or Blooming Flower, a non-Annie song. The same year though, she had Ega O no Kimie, which was an Annie song, opening for that year's season of Yuki Yuna is a Hero. 2019, double release of Chance and Yugata, Chance being the 3rd ending for Ace of Diamond Act 3. And finally, most recent 10th single in 2023, so very recent, Pink Baby Kiss. Also not an anime song, but it was instead a release to celebrate her 10th anniversary as a solo artist. That is like only half the resume though, as she also has had 8 digital-only tracks. Glory and Harmonia in 2014. The following year had Roller Coaster, Heart Collection, and Happy Happy Christmas. Jumping over to 2018, 6th and 7th digital tracks, Yume Hiko, ending for Ultraman RB, and then Kakume no Masquerade. The last digital single of hers was in 2021, Sugarless Kiss, the ending theme for Odd Taxi. Looking great in that cover, by the way. And finally, this beautiful woman has 6 full albums. 2014, Suki. 2015, Fantastic Funfair. 2016, Toyful Basket. 2018, Tone. 2019 Holiday Mode, and 2023 was a Best Of album, RPB, again to celebrate 10 years, and the initials stand for Red, Pink, Blue, red for passionate and energetic songs, pink for lovely, happy, and cute songs, and blue for relaxed, cool, and youthful songs. This is a near 3-hour collection of her songs, by the way. Highly recommend if you're new to her music or just want to re-listen to the good stuff. Aside from all of this, she has performed with Mystery Kiss from Odd Taxi, Glitter Green from Bang Dream, is still a performer for Starlight Kukugumi, the leads of Revue Starlight, and then back in the day she was part of the unit Milky Homes for the anime of the same title, actually being with fellow Muse member, and the next girl I'll be going over, Sora Tokui, who is actually the only member of Muse not to have a solo singing career. She does, however, do a lot of singing for the shows that she's in. Also being part of Milky Homes, as I just said, and I guess she was also part of Glitter Green as well, but she just didn't perform like Momori did. However, Tokui was in Chimamitai from Is This the Order of the Rabbit, and being a somewhat headliner for the Pretty Derby series. Though she has taken a huge step back over the last few years, probably just to chill out as she's been doing this stuff for a long time now. And you know, now that I'm looking at this script, I totally forgot to mention that she is also in Kirato Pichan. Also shoutouts to her recent marriage, big congrats to her and her mans. I'm actually very surprised there's only 3 Muse ladies publicly married. I'm actually going to assume that we will get another one to tie the knot next year, and I think it'll be the next lady I go over, Yurika Kubo. Whoever is man enough to ask her for marriage, I salute them. Her music career began in 2016 on Pony Canyon label, having 3 tracks in the same year. First being Lovely Lovely Strawberry, How Lovely, then Summer Chance, and Arigato no Jikan. All 3 of these being on her first and only album, Subete ga Taisetsuna de Ai. Totally nailed that first try, and it released in 2017. 2019, she had the mini-album Vivid Vivid, fantastic cover, and she did the lyrics for the 4th track on the album. 2021 was the track Kimi Nara Kimi Shika, which is super relevant to her, Nara being her prefecture and Shika being her nickname. Also, Shika meaning deer in the deer park in Nara, extremely fitting for her. And then last year, she had Kawaii Kute Ijiwaru Shichau, another fantastic cover, oh my goodness. Being the ending theme for The Legendary Hero is Dead, her first and only any song, from her solo career at least, as she has plenty of anime music as her characters for her shows. She also recently became a Pretty Series performer like many other LoveLive girls. Last for Muse, we have the legend Yoshino Nanjo, who rivals Momori for having the biggest resume in Muse, with Momori having more singles, but Nanjo having more albums. Momori also being in more music franchises outside of LoveLive. Nanjo, however, was part of Ripside from 2009 to 2022, having lots of music over there, so you can argue she's the more active singer. As a solo act, however, Yoshino debuted in 2013 with the label NBC Universal Japan, having the single Kimi ga Emu Yugure, ending for Tokyo Ravens. The following year, having The World You Loved, ending for The Fruit of Grisaya. Get used to hearing that series, by the way. As in 2015, her 3rd and 4th singles, Starlight of the Twilight and To Search for You, both being more Grisaya endings. All 4 of these tracks being on her debut album, Tokyo 1 by 3650. The following year, 5th single, Zero Ichi Kiseki, ending for the show And You Thought There Was Never a Girl Online. Good show. Also, 2nd album, En no Hako. The next year after that, she had another 2 singles, Hikari no Hajimari, ending for Adam the Beginning, and Isai wa Monogatari, 2nd ending for Season 2 of the newer Berserk series. The lead track featuring and being co-written by pop singer Nagi Yanagi. Both of these being on her 3rd album in the same year, titled Santo Roa. 2018 is the only year since her solo debut not having any new music at all. So 2019 she continued with her 8th and 9th singles, Next to You, My Place, ending for My Roommate is a Cat, and Planet of Goodbyes, the theme for that year's Grisaya movie. In 2020 there was another pair of tracks, 10th single Yabu no Naku no Synthes, ending for Bungo and Alchemist. There was also 11th single Namida Nagaruru Mama, theme for another Grisaya movie. 2021 new single Evolution, opening for The Fruit of Evolution, and newest album A Tiny Winter Story, consisting of all new songs from her, not having any of the singles of the last few years before it. And it even had 4 covers of songs that she likes on it as well. Now we have 2022 13th single Hitori to Kimito, ending for the Genius Princess Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt, being part of her 5th album, Journey's Trunk. Nearing the ending now for her, we have 2023 new single Sen, opening for My Daughter Left the Nest and returned an S-rank adventurer. This was on her most recent album, Fantastic Garden, which also came out in 2023. As for this year, at the very beginning, she had Hikari no Thrill, the ending for The Witch and the Beast. And you would think that's where it ends, but as I said, she has got a big resume, which includes some other special albums, a mini in 2012 titled Kata Rumowa, a best of album in 2018 titled The Memories Apartment, having 2 different versions, anime version and original version. 2019 was a live collections album, Live a Life, or Live a Life, and 2020 was Acoustic for You, an acoustic album, if that wasn't obvious. Within this crazy career of hers, she wrote the lyrics for the coupling tracks of basically all of her proper single releases, even some of the lead tracks as well, and then just a bunch of others from her albums. Then aside from Ripside stuff, she has also done a few live performances for the Symphogear franchise back in the day. And hopefully I didn't miss anything, because that was a lot of stuff, and we are just getting started. Let's move on to Aqua. As a whole, they are nowhere near as active as Muse, but I'd say that's going to be changing within the next few years. And before I even fully research on these girls, I'm going to make a guess that either Shuka or Aina have the biggest singing resume. Let's see if I'm right. Starting with Arisa Komiya, who is actually the only member not to have a solo singing career. Instead, she has her DJing career. She does, however, do live performances for the Denanbu series, and has performed twice with D4DJ, also being featured in the music video for Farihata's song From East to West. More on her later. First, let's go over everyone's favorite leader, Anju Inami, who recently began taking her singing very seriously. She did have some singing back before Aqua in 2015, the songs Good Shepherd and Loved On, which may be a little hard to find internationally, but Google will probably help you out with that. Anju was also featured in the Anime Gatsuri soundtrack in 2017. 2018, however, is where I would say she really began, with Sony Music Arts serving as her label and agency. She had the EP Nami Oto, Volume 0.5 cover collection, covering 3 popular songs, and in the following year was the same album but having 3 original tracks, the lead track Kokarte being an absolute banger. 2021 was again the same album, but this time having the subtitle Fly Out, being full length and having more new original tracks from her. The following year she had her 3rd single, Millie 10 Dresses, Welcome to Inami Town. Then last year of 2023, she had Killer Bee, one of my favorite tracks of the whole year. Highly recommend the music video. This was also the first track on her brand new label, Cue Me Disque, a label founded by her. How exciting. And not long after was her first digital single, Raise the Ace. And now we have this year, newest EP, No Pain, No Life, one of my favorite tracks for this year. And also very recently announced her newest single, Letter, will come out in just a few weeks. But I just want to say it's actually crazy how different her natural voice is compared to her singing as Chika. She has so much talent. Really looking forward to more music from her in the future. But now let's move on to her good friend Shuka Saito, debuting with Sakura Music in 2019. With the mini album Shoelaces, also having a double single of Sanjuro Kuro and PaPaPa. That second one still being one of her most popular tracks, and the opening for Oresuki. The year of 2020 gave us her second mini album Sunflower, and then moving straight into 2021, second single Sekai no Hate, ending theme for Back Arrow, and first full album Patchwork, even writing lyrics for 2 of the tracks on it. 2022 gave us the singles Hajimari no Sign and Ipai Atena, another big recommend for the Atena music video. 2023 gave us another mini album, Ashite Shumaiba, and the single Bokura wa Genius opening for Herbivorous Dragon. For this year, she has had the single Hana Ranai Day and album 555 to celebrate her 5th anniversary as a solo artist. The extremely cute Nanakasuha had her singing debut in 2020 with the album So Sweet Dulce on the label Nippon Columbia. Later in the same year, her first mini-album, Color Me Purple. 2021 was her first single, Cobalt no Kodo, opening for Battle Athlete's Victory Restart, and another mini-album, Winter Cocktail. 2022 was the second single, Fine Days, and moving right along to 2023, digital single, My Step, and third mini-album, Starry Garden. Very pretty cover. For this year of 2024, she has had World of Words being the main single, but the songs Hana Kotoba and Suranate also came out having the same cover. Then all three tracks were on her most recent album, Ashiato ga Sumugu. Next up is the vocal goddess Aina Suzuki, who also debuted in 2020 with the Lantis label and the album Ring a Ring. The second track on this album, Hikari Iro no Uta, being the ending for Hatana Illusion. The same year was her first single Yasashisa no Namae, ending for Monster Girl Doctor, as well as her second single Moto Takaku, opening for Sports Climbing Girls. The year after this, she had her first digital single, Eto Nyanran, opening for Etotama. Great outfit, great hair, watch the music video. Keeping up with that, Belle Revolt was her second album with another amazing cover, and you should watch the music video for Wonder Map. Oh, and she was also featured in the song Arekore Drastic by pop singer Haruka. 2023, she had 3 new singles, Dash and Go, opening for Alice Gear Aegis Expansion, another amazing cover. There was also Apocalypse Day, opening for the Joshin movie. And lastly, digital single Lilac Melody, ending for the Saint's Magic Power is Omnipotent Season 2. Now for this year, newest single Hate no Naitabi, opening for The Weakest Tamer. And lastly, newest EP Initium. But for a bonus, prior to all of this, and even Aqua, she was actually in a band together with some other ladies called ANG Girls Beat Queen Tea. Aina played keyboard, and they even had a radio show that went on for 16 months, but their music isn't really accessible anymore. So that does suck. But from one vocal goddess to another, Aika Kobayashi also kind of debuted in 2020. However, back in 2012, she did have a single release, Future is Serious, ending for Queen's Blade Rebellion. Then it wouldn't be until 2020 where she had a re-debut of sorts, being on the Toys Factory label with her single No Life Code, which is a good song. A great song, in fact. In 2021, she had a regular single, Tough Heart, opening for Shuka Ichiban, writing the lyrics for the third track on the CD, and she had a digital track, Ambitious Goal, opening for Farewell My Dear Kramer, as well as the full album Graduation Collection. 2022, digital tracks Makoto Period, ending for Love of Kill, and Mirai Miracle Circle, second ending for Space Academy, and then EP Sezegi. 2023 was her most recent single Gummichu, or Gumi as she pronounces it, and this year of 2024, her most recent album is Illumination Collection. Kanako Takatsuki is in the exact same situation, kind of debuting in 2020, but did technically have a single release in 2012. Bonjo Cinderella no Shiruke no Aru Onagai. That is a really long title, but then of course she would have nothing up until 2020, where she had her re-debut single Anti-World on the Lantis label, being the opening for I'm Standing on a Million Lives, and she wrote the lyrics for all the tracks on the CD. The following year was Subversive, doing all the lyrics again, also even helping out with the composition, and being the opening for Season 2 of Standing on a Million Lives. The same year was also her EP King of Anisan Episode 1, which was just 3 covers, one of them actually being Unravel from Tokyo Ghoul. Last up for her as a solo act in 2022, her most recent single Before the Nightmare, ending for Black Rock Shooter Dawnfall, and once again doing all the lyrics with some composition. A little bonus though, this year she was featured in the song Flutterbond by a group or person known as Tonal. Then Kin-chan also used to have her own idol unit known as Bloody from 2019 to 2022. The group currently being on hiatus, though there were talks of restarting it, we just haven't heard anything for some time now. Moving on to the last of the first years, Ai Furihata, guess when she started her solo career? 2020, with the single City. Also having the track Purple Eyeshadow, these being digital only, also having the mini album Moonrise. A few months later having Makeup, all on the label Purple One Star. Also her doing lyrics for all of the tracks. In 2021 she had 3 new singles, Axiom, my personal favorite of hers, but also Honeymoon and Higashi Kara Nishi-e. Oh, also majority of her singles are just random cover art, so I'm mostly choosing to show photos of her instead of the covers. But in 2022, she was featured in the song Be With You by Night Tempo, and then she had 2 cover albums, Memories of Romance in Summer and Memories of Romance in Driving. And I actually wonder if she does the art for these covers. It looks a lot like her drawing style, but I can't find any evidence that it is her. Honestly, I'm just gonna assume that it is. So let's move on to 2023, where she had her first full album, Supermoon. Basically just being a compilation of all of her big songs up until that point, including the 2 new digital tracks that she had that year, being Playboy and Fashion. Now for this year, she has had her newest single, Ho Ho Emi no Oto, opening for Astronaut, her very first Annie song. Good for her. Then again, as always, a little bonus, aside from her solo career in Aqua, Furi is also a main performer in the Project Sakai series, with a few other ladies that I'll talk about later in the video, but Furi in particular being part of the group More Jump. Alright, as they say, save the best for last. Rika Kawaida, my first crush. She debuted in 2019 with the Astro Voice label and her EP Principal, the second track, Ordinary Love, being the ending theme for Senryu Girl. The same year having her first single 4, the word, not the number, opening for Val Love. In 2020, she had her first full album Curtain Raise, as well as digital track Blue Hour, with the lyrics being written by her. 2021 was the EP Fiction, the lead track Dream Hopper being the opening theme for LBX Girls. Then in 2022, the pretty lady had another EP titled Nostalgia. 2023, the digital track Hana Uta Tomawari Michi, and mini album Act 2. And finally this year, the most recent digital track My Method. And that is it for Aqua. Let's see if I was correct about who had the biggest resume. And I was. Aina having 10 releases, with Shuka and Rikako having 9 releases, between singles, albums, and EPs and whatnot. Aina also having way more Annie songs. So before I move on to Niji, let's quickly talk about Saint Snow, neither of which performing as solo acts. But Asami Tano back in the day was part of a traditional idol group known as Boy Style from 2002 to 2007, even doing a one-piece opening. Nowadays, she's the leader of the underrated god-tier idol group known as Franshushu with the Zombieland Saga franchise. Hinata Sato, on the other hand, is one of those ladies who just doesn't know how to chill out, being part of Starlight Kukugumi within Revue Starlight, Night Chord within Project Sakai, and my personal favorite of hers, Photon Maiden within D4DJ. Not to mention lots of really cool stage plays of anime IP. That's not what this video is about though. But actually back in the day, Hichan was part of Sakura Gakuin, an old school idol group, being in there with the ladies from Baby Metal. Cool stuff. Now when it comes to the Nijigasaki School Idol Club, like every member is part of some sort of other music franchise or Seiyu unit except for Akina Homoto, who also has no singing career at all, so let's just start off with Akari Kito, one of the heavy hitters within the group, probably having the second most songs out of all the girls, debuting in 2019 with Pony Canyon and her song Swinging Hard. Ending theme for high school prodigies Have It Easy Even in Another World. 2020 she had Desire Again, its coupling track Tiny Light being the ending for Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. Also Kimi no Tonari Day, ending for Adachi and Shimamura. Then first album, Style, also being featured in the track Koi no Uta, the opening for Tonikawa. 2021 was first mini-album Kaleidoscope, having the track No Continue, the opening for Battle Game in 5 seconds. For sure watch the music video for this one. This is actually my favorite song out of any of the LoveLive girls' solo singing career. There is even an English version that she sings if you're interested. 2022 she had the limited run single Michikusa, as well as Escase, and second album Luminous. In 2023, she had 2 singles, Dear Doze Days, ending for Chilling in My 30s after getting fired from the Demon King's army. That sounds so stupid, but I kinda wanna watch it. The other track being Magie Magie, the ending for A Girl and Her Guard Dog. This year, she has had Dream Thread, opening for Chained Soldier, and also Give Me 5, her newest mini-album. All really good stuff, by the way. Akari is actually one of my personal favorites when it comes to solo music. And even back in the day, she had some live performances with the Blend S series. Sora Tokui also being there too, and should be easily found here on the tube. Then her alongside the next 3 girls are all in Uma Musume Pretty Derby, though Akari in particular hasn't really performed in a long time. Maria Sashide is not a solo act, but she has sang live for the Wataten series, part of the unit Wataten 5, along with the last pretty lady that I just talked about. And also, as I just said, Maria is part of the Pretty Derby series, a newer addition who hasn't actually been at a proper live yet. Her also being a live performer in Kiroto Pri-chan, which I also totally forgot to write down in the script. Kaori Maeda with the horse racing franchise has actually performed quite a lot, especially last year. But as a solo act, she started very recently in 2023 with the single Toward the Shining Coin, the opening for Saving 80,000 Gold in Another World for My Retirement. A couple months after this song, along with a few new ones, would make up her first EP, Mikansai Star. And it's the same thing for this year. She had Unconventional Human, the opening for Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy Season 2. Banger music video, by the way, highly recommend, one of my favorites for the whole year. This was bundled into her newest EP, Grab the World. And now let's move on to honorary 13th member Hinaki Yano, who is also in Pretty Derby, basically serving as the new face of the franchise. Way before this, however, back in 2010, she was part of the idol group Shiritsu Ebisu Chugaku for a little over a year. Then in 2017, she became the lead vocalist for the group Dusty Fruits Club, and she is also a performer in the Selection Project series. By herself, she debuted as a singer in 2021 with the track Hologram Angel on the Sony Music Artist label, also serving as her agency, and the following year she had Follow Me as well as EP Teardrops. For this year, she has had two more singles, Poya Ponopo and Kimi to Ita Natsuo. Next up is the leader, Aguri Onishi, who actually has a very successful solo career, the biggest resume in all of Niji, despite debuting kind of recently in 2021 with the label Nippon Columbia. The song Honjitsu wa Saiten Nari, the same year having a double release of Elderflower and Hatsukoi Colors, the first song being the ending theme for Seirei Gensoki Spirit Chronicles. The year after that was third single Jellyfish Nakimi-e, opening for Don't Hurt Me, My Healer. A few months later, having Hajumaru Welcome, opening for Management of a Novice Alchemist. 2023 was her first and still only album, Do You Agree?, a play on her name being Aguri. The same year having another double release of Yume da Anekute Mo and Yubisaki Heart. For this year she has had another two singles, I My Girl, ending for Sasaki and Peeps. Then Auftalkt, her seventh single, is the opening for Spirit Chronicles Season 2, and will have its proper release on November 20th, probably around the time this video goes up. I say probably with high hopes because this video is actually a hell of a lot longer than I thought it would be. But I am committing to it no matter the length and no matter how long it takes. Back to Aguri, prior to her solo debut, she was in the Seiyu unit SPR5 or Supreme 5 as part of the Shometsu Toshi game series. Shoutouts to Hina Suguta also being in it, though that group has since disbanded, very recently in fact. Aguri was also in another group known as Prima Porta, the group only really being active in 2019 and 2020, with Aguri actually leaving the group in 2020, probably to focus on beginning the solo work. And as you can see, both Shu Uchida and Mayu Sogara are in this unit too, still technically being in it despite it being kind of inactive for a while now. Then Shu herself actually doesn't have too much going on outside of Niji in terms of music, so let's talk about Mayu Sogara, who recently debuted last year with the album Smile My Style on the Universal Music label. Then this year having 4 singles, Mukuware Naya, Hoshizora Wonder, Anatatai no Iris, and the most recent being Secret Girls Party. I actually really like this one, a lot. Then Tsuyugari is her first mini album that came out just a couple weeks ago. Apart from this, she's also part of Smile Princess within the Pride of Orange series, and they make good music over there. And I, again, totally forgot to write down that she is in Kiroto Pri-chan. I need to watch the series so it's more relevant in my brain or something. But speaking of good music, Natsumi Murakami and Chiemi Tanaka do not have solo careers as singers, but they are a duo unit together known as Nacherry, having very good music by the way, and we're just going to keep up with that trend going with Miyu Kubota. Not a solo artist, but part of the fantastic unit known as Iris, probably my favorite group of all time, aside from Aqua of course. But Miyu also does live performances for Pripara, Pri-chan, and Shinepost. Moika Koizumi is in a similar situation, not a solo artist, but she's part of like 5 different units. HarMoe with her best friend Haruki Iwata, Piki Piki from D4DJ, Starlight Kukugumi from Revue Starlight, and Mixed Juice from her agency Muse Inc. Also lots of stage plays, which I'll definitely do a video about next year, since so many ladies do plays as well. Last up, we have Koko Hayashi. As with most Niji girls, no solo career, but is very active in the music scene. Part of the unit Run Girls Run from the Wake Up Girls franchise back in the day. doing some live action Kito pre-chan stuff, and being the drummer for My Go in Bang Dream, pretty much being a new headliner over there. So I did say Coco was last, but let's talk about Tomori Kusunoki as well, as she is more focused on singing now and actually has quite a few things going on, debuting in 2020 with Sakura label, specifically the EP Hamadashi Mono, the title track being the ending for Misfit at Demon Academy, her writing the lyrics for all the tracks and doing composition for a few as well. The next year, she had Forced Shutdown and Narrow, again doing all lyrics and most of the composition. I like how she's very hands-on with her own music, gives it a more personal feeling while listening to it. In 2022, she had the EP Yarazu no Ame along with the track Vanilla. Then in 2023, she had double album releases on the same day, Absence and Presence. Good names. Along with having the single back-to-back and also being featured in the song Nemu Ranai by Miminari. Ending theme for the vexations of a shut-in vampire princess. And now for this year, she has had the EPs Shingetsu and Toto. Then aside from the solo stuff, she did some live shows with the franchise 8-Beat Story a few years back, but also some stuff with Revue Starlight being part of Rin Maiken, and then Project Sakai being part of Night Court. Though since stepping down as Setsuna, I don't think she's continued doing either of those. Also, I haven't mentioned any anime-specific character songs at all for anyone, but for Tomori's music, as Len from Sora Online, it's pretty iconic and worth listening to if you're a fan. The next group is the Sparkly Goddesses Liella, not too many of them having solo stuff yet, but some do, starting with Naomi Payton, who is on the label Sony Music Artists, and she is a former member of a traditional idol group known as Idling from 2017 to 19. However, since joining Liella, the solo debut was back in 2023 with the track Maho, and this year having the song Nemesis. I can't find too much detail on these though, they don't seem to be on streaming or really listed anywhere. I only know they exist because of her YouTube channel. Nagisa Aoyama, however, does have her stuff on Spotify and Apple Music, being on the label Launch Vehicle, odd name, but she debuted this year actually with the track Kaiho. A month later having Kimito, both being on her first album that came out just last month, also titled Kaiho, or Setting Free in English. She has also done music for the series Synduality Noir, being in their live-action music videos, and actually also being featured in a music video for one of Liyuu's songs titled Yellow. And I guess I might as well go over Liyuu now, who has the most music in Liella by far, and even more music than any of the Niji girls aside from maybe Aguri. Liyuu debuting with Lantis in 2020, with the song Magic Words, the opening for Hatuna Illusion, but also having Carpe Diem, the ending for I'm Standing on a Million Lives. Funny enough, if you remember both Aina and Kanako from Aqua singing the opposite themes for both of those shows. All three of them being on the same label, so it makes sense. A little more on that later though. Towards the end of 2021, Liyuu had 3 digital tracks, all 1 month apart. Ruru Kawaima, Endless Vacation, which has an amazing cover by the way, and Ambition, all having different themes of cuteness, clubbing, and rock and roll respectively. This kept going into the beginning of 2022 with another digital track, Reply, which continued with the theme-based tracks, this one meant to symbolize a ballad. Not long after this was her first album For You, 4 being the number, and meant to represent the 4 digital tracks that she released within the 4 prior months. Honestly, a very cool idea and very effective marketing. Way later in the year, she had her 3rd proper hard copy single, True Fool Love, opening for More Than a Married Couple, and my personal favorite track of hers. Moving on to 2023, her mini album Koi, this album having the track Yellow that had Nagisa in the music video. Then there was Liyuu's 4th single Blooming, the ending for Devil's a Part-Timer Season 2. And now for this year, Lee Chan had 2 singles, both kind of recent. No Complete, the opening for Quality Assurance in Another World, and most recent Bad To Do Do, opening for I'll Become a Villainess Who Goes Down in History. They're really pushing her on these isekai shows. She also had her 2nd album Soaring Heart at the beginning of the year. Now let's talk about Naoko Misaki, who debuted last year with the digital single Sky and Light. A month later having I Love You, damn, bold song title, both being on her first album, A Day to You. Then a little after that having another single, Sweet Sign, ending for the 100 Girlfriends show. Really impressive debut year. Probably the most impressive of the whole video, honestly. Good for her, and her music is published under Atlantis, a very well established label. And for this year, in July, she has had the single Chisana Tsubomi, opening for Dahlia in Bloom. Before I cover the last 2, I want to briefly mention Aya Omori, who doesn't have any solo stuff, but she used to be part of a group known as Saint Bono Pro School in 2013 and 14. but also Hakuiro Musume in 2019 and 2020, being under the name Ayaka Yoda, which some places actually cite as her real name. Oh hey, look at that, the day after I recorded this, she announced her solo debut. Really goes to show you how quickly this video will be outdated. Aya has debuted with the EP Start Memories under the Star Rise label, same as the next two. I recorded that first though, so sorry for repeating myself. So with these last two, I'm not sure if it's technically considered a solo career, but they're both lead singers, just rebranded under a new name, both under the same label too, Star Rise label. Starting with Yuina and her new name Lust Queen, very fitting considering who she is. Her debut EP was also titled Lust Queen, and just a few months later she had So Desu Ga, a song featured in Poketune. Also back in 2016-19, she was a vocalist and guitarist for a band called Drop Doll. And then Wakana Okuma is now under the name Spieleben. Honestly not sure how it's pronounced yet, and it looks like a very German name. So when I look at it, I kind of think of like Spieleben. But her debut EP Prologue came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And now lastly, as always, Hasu no Sora. And also as always, not too much going on with them for the most part, but some girls did do some stuff prior to joining the group. Koko no Naka being part of Sakura Gakuen, the same group that Hinata Sato was in, but Kokono was part of it from 2018 to 2021. A year later being part of the unit Onipons for the anime of the same name, which is technically still ongoing. Her Dalkastra sister Kotoko Sasaki was a member of the super popular Nogizaki 46 from 2013 all the way up until 2020. Graduating just a couple months before her 7th anniversary with them, and she is easily the most veteran member of Hasu. But no solo singing career. Honestly, I feel like she'd be one of the next ones to get one, if she even wants one to begin with. Next we have Kana Kan, who used to go by the name Madoka Kan, and was in the duo unit known as Gothic Luck for the Kimono Friend series for 4 years, starting in 2018. On a similar note, the leader Nozomi Nire used to go by the name Nozomi Sera with the group Needs from 2019 to 2021. And if you look to the right of this picture here, that actually isn't her. Nozomi is on the left, the cutie on the right being her twin sister Mizuki. Massive missed opportunity not having both twins in LoveLive, honestly. But last up, we have one of the newer girls, Rin Kurusu, who has the most action within her solo career. Real quick before that though, she was the center of the idol group 26 O'Clock Masquerade from 2016 to 2022. In 2023, she debuted as a solo artist with the song I Wish, the opening for Kamikatsu, and having a mini album Happy Lucky Diary shortly after, being on the Lantis label, which I'm sure helped get her name in for LoveLive, since Lantis is the label that publishes all the LoveLive music. This year, she has had the single Believer, the ending for Reincarnated as a Slime Season 3, and very soon on November 27th, she will have third single What's Your Name, ending for I'll Be a Villainess Who Goes Down in History, the same track that Liyuu sings the opening for. The title track for Rin's single is actually already on streaming though if you want to check it out early before the full release. So that's it for the main topic, but as always I want to throw in some extra stuff and even a few fun facts. First, some stuff that you can find here on YouTube for free if you want to see more of the girls outside of LoveLive. Starting with Anisama yearly music videos, here are all the ladies who have appeared in which years to make it easier to find the video that you want. Over on the Crossing YouTube channel, where they have Seiyu come and cover their favorite Annie songs, these ladies have made appearances and covered these songs, some even being on the show twice. I actually have a playlist here on the channel featuring all of these covers, along with videos from Seiyu who are not in LoveLive. That playlist also featuring Masayoshi Oishi and Airi Suzuki's Annie Song Day Show, being a very similar situation, but apart from the song covers, I also have the girls on for a full-on interview prior to the music. All of these pretty girls have been on it. Yes, there's a lot of macros, and some people have even sang the same song. Also just want to say I would have included the first take that has celebrities on to sing their own songs, but no one from LoveLive has been on there. At least none that I have found. But now for some fun facts, starting with who's on the same label, as you can see here. There are a few things to clarify though, Moeka herself not being on Pony Canyon, but 2 of her groups are, those being HarMoe and Starlight Kukugumi, Hinata Sato also being in Starlight Kukugumi, and Aguri's former group Supreme 5 was also on Pony Canyon. Then Sakura Music is not completely affiliated with Sony Music artists, but they're all under the Sony brand, so in a way they are kind of related. And over with Avex, Sora Tokui not having a singing career, but Avex does serve as her agency. Also where Miyuten's group Iris and Coco's former group Run Girls Run are signed to. The last little thing to mention for these facts, in the Muse agency, not a label but all members of the agency sang on the album that released a few years ago, except for Kanako Takatsuki, who left prior to it being recorded. The album being titled First Channel and featured the song Fine 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 that released a little bit prior to it. I guess Koko no Nonaka is technically in the agency as well, but she also wasn't on the album. Also, because I kept forgetting about this, here is a quick list of all the girls involved with the Pretty series, which includes Pripara, Kirato Prichan, Wachapromagi, and the very recent Himitsu no Aipri, most even performing in multiple franchises. Funny how it's literally only Muse and Niji girls though, and it's exactly 4 from each. Also worth mentioning, Kusun, Tokui, Nanjo, and Momori were technically in the original Pripara, but as characters that didn't perform in live action. And finally, I don't feel confident enough to recommend a song from every single girl that I talked about, but here are a few that I think you should listen to if you haven't already. And if anyone else wants to drop recommendations down below, please feel free to do so. Though with that, we have actually reached the ending. Finally, this was a way bigger project than I initially anticipated. Like literally being double the length and even a little more. So if you enjoyed, I would very much appreciate a like and even a sub if you want. But most importantly, definitely join me in the next one. Speaking of that, the next video won't be for a while. I'm going to take like a month to focus on the recap videos that will be coming out in December. Also going to take the time to attempt to get ahead and have multiple videos ready to be uploaded when the new year starts. So aside from a few shorts that I made recently, you won't see any full videos until mid to late December, starting with the LoveLive 2024 recap. As always, I look forward to seeing you there.